So if I'm not gonna flunk the drug test, then there's really not a reason for me to be afraid of taking the oil or the lotion or whatever, however that product gets delivered to my system. So tell me a little bit about, you have four different types of products, and I always look at those as different delivery systems. Talk about those four delivery systems, if you would, and help us to understand what that is.
Yeah, so the four different ones that I believe you're mentioning are we have a tincture, which I have kind of a broken bottle here that I use personally. And then we have our vapes and our vape fluids. And then we also have an isolate, which is just the CBD powder. And we also have topicals. So going through each of those real quick at a high level, what they're good for and why I recommend one over the other. The tincture is great. I don't know if you've noticed on our new labeling and kind of in the background of a lot of our images and marketing material, we kind of yin and yang back there. You can see it as kind of hidden. And the reason for that is we believe in both taking care of a problem once it arises, but also trying to prevent that problem, right? And so the tincture for me is something that I like to take every day. I take it in the morning. I take it just one dropper in the morning. I personally hold it under my tongue for a little while to get the effects. And the tincture is a good preventative. So we've currently done a migraine study, and we believe that the tincture has helped a lot of our participants to keep the migraines from even coming on at all. And the tincture helps to build up CBD in your system to get your system back to regular and back to homeostasis. And so I think it's a really good introductory way to kind of introduce yourself and your body to CBD, especially because a lot of our customers are from the baby boomer generation or older and are not familiar or maybe even not comfortable with the vaping method of things. And so the tincture is an easier way to ingest the CBD without having to go into the vaping, which brings up a great segue into the vaping. So headaches, for example, you can take the tincture every day in hopes to prevent those migraines or headaches from coming on. But if one were to come on, then I would recommend a vape pen. A vape pen is great for immediate relief. It breaks that blood-brain barrier quickly. And if you have a sudden spurt of anxiety, vape pens are great to immediately help out with that. If you have a sudden burst of pain here or there, like I said, headache, even a lot of my friends, I am younger, a lot of my friends use them for their hangovers. If they drink a little bit too much the night before, the vape pen seems to help them out with that. So vape pen, real quick delivery method, breaks that blood-brain barrier fast, and gets you kind of some immediate relief. The topicals are the third delivery method that we offer. They're a little bit more self-explanatory. So the topicals, if you have, I'm in the gym a lot. I'm constantly injuring myself here or there. And the topicals, especially the salve, is great to just apply directly to a sore muscle, or maybe have tennis elbow or something where it's really pinpoint on where you're trying to target and use the CBD for relief. The topicals are great to just put directly on it. We actually have some anecdotal stories about the lotion helping to get rid of wrinkles and blemishes on the face. There was actually a lady that was trying to use it to get rid of her migraines, and she would put on her lotion every morning right here on her temples. And after a couple of weeks, she noticed that her crow's feet had gone away when she was trying to get rid of her headache. So there are some anecdotal stories about the lotion helping with that as well. And then lastly, we have our isolate. CBD isolate is exactly what it sounds like. It's the isolated form of CBD. It's about 99.9% purity, so it is as close to a pharma-grade substance as we can offer. The isolate is interesting in that it's very quick acting, like the vape. If you look at the studies and you look at the half-life and the uptake, so it spikes very quickly, but it spikes back down very quickly. So it's good for immediate relief, but that relief is short-lived with the isolate. So with a lot of people that are looking for immediate relief, Kim, our sales director, had suffered a traumatic brain injury about 3 or 4 years back, and she gets crazy migraines from it. Yeah. And she takes a tincture every day to try to prevent it. But if she does have a migraine coming on and the vape's not quite doing the job, she'll take some isolate to really just take care of that migraine and make sure that it doesn't come on. So it has that quick uptake and that quick down. So she'll take the tincture at the same time, which has a long, steady curve to it. And then with the combination, she can get that immediate relief, and then the tincture will have that long, steady relief that'll hold her throughout the rest of the day.
So you confirmed what I discovered, and I like that because this was a venture for me. The oil, the tincture itself, good maintenance drug, right?
Definitely.
Something
maintenance,
was wrong.
Preventative.
Something was wrong that's causing you to have this to begin with. You know, there's something that's out of whack that's causing you to have a problem to begin with. And the oil is a good maintenance kind of thing to help keep that in balance, whatever that is that's out of whack. Would you agree with that?
I agree with that 100%.
Okay. Then the next thing is the lotion. And I got to tell you, the first thing, when I first got the lotion, it's like, okay, what am I going to do with this? You know, and I can understand, here's my confusion. I can understand the value of the oil. I got that. You know, put some drops under your tongue, off you go, everything's good. And I'm looking at this bottle of lotion, and I'm asking myself the same question everybody else asked. Where do I start? What do I do with them? And so, and I still think that's probably the biggest question that people have, because if you do any research on this whatsoever, what you find out is that all of the, if I YouTube or if I Google or whatever I do, everybody's advice is do what works for you. Well, the question is, how do I know what works for? And that's really not helpful to anybody. And I realize that everybody's going to have a different approach. Everybody's going to have different stuff that's going to go on. I get that. But where do you start?
It's a great question. Great question. So where do you start? And that's going to be dependent, obviously, on who you are. So that's kind of where that do what works for you comes up. The way to discover what works for you, and the first thing I would recommend, especially right now, as we're still a smaller company, and we can use Kim, our sales director, as much as we do currently. Kim is a walking encyclopedia of cannabinoids, phytocannabinoids, and your endocannabinoid system. She's dealt with hundreds, possibly thousands of customers who have used CBD in ways to get rid of their ailments, and she's seen it all. And so that's a good place to start. We can provide her number here, and also if people want to email her email is just kim@purespectrumcbd.com. She's a great resource to use to kind of say, you know, I'm looking to improve my quality of life by decreasing this ailment or getting rid of this pain or this or that. And so where to start is really dependent on what you're looking for relief from. So again, if you have migraines, for example, and I keep bringing that up because we're just wrapping up this study that we did with 25 different participants, and really excited to share the results on that. But migraines, for instance, where do you start is I would recommend, you know, getting a tincture and a vape pen. And then if you have really bad migraines, maybe even a gram of isolate just to kind of have as like an emergency reserve if one does get through our other two lines of defense that I just recommended. But like I said, where to start is really dependent on what you're looking for. So to find out, like you said, to do some research and really see what it is, because if you have a sore knee, I would probably recommend the tincture and the lotion that you can apply directly to your sore knee. And so all of these different methods are each one kind of serves a purpose and does something better than the other methods. And that's why we have and offer all four of those.